Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today I'm going to talk about my book, Master Your Mind, Master Your Leadership. This book is all about mental agility, how individual can strengthen their mental stamina. This book is completely dedicated based on the observation of great leaders whomever I am working with and how they have really developed that strong mental stamina. And what are those traits is essential for us to really strengthen our mental agility. And that's what I'm going to talk about. And in this book I have completely highlighted, like it has a pillars, 7E leadership framework. I call it 7E leadership. It is much more easy to understand like what are those E, so that we can systematically build a system around us which can ensure that we become mentally strong individuals. So that's why this 7E is a vital element for individuals to become better leader, and every day this 7E need to be checked upon and see that like it is really strengthening, because these are pillars, 7 pillars for individuals to become greater mental strength. Now every E play a significant role in your personality, and this E need to be really constantly polished, constantly mature. Now 7E framework it consists of ethics, envisioning, endurance, excellence, encouragement, enablement, and effectiveness. People are saying, why don't you put 10 more? When I research with a lot of historical figures like great leaders, whomever they have become great at, I've identified these are the essential few. These are the essential few. If every 7 is essential to really mold you, strong you, so that you don't fall back, because these are all safety net. One of the pillar, if it is weak, also other pillar will strengthen that, and all those pillars will, if you equally really stabilize that, obviously you will become a great individual. You will become unstoppable, because I have seen that all great leaders, these components has been solidly polished. Now if you see ethics, if you just talk about the ethics, it's all about the trust building approach, integrity and trust building. How well you are taking care about all the things whatever you are doing. The integration is on the that set up a trust, that set up a courage, is actually, that's why it's essential that a leader need to be ethical and need to be really taking care of all those things with the moral courage, take tough decision in time of crisis. So that's why ethics is one of the foundation of any great leadership traits. So if you strengthen this ethics, it will trust will improve, people will follow you, your courage is also improved, because you know you are doing something which is great cause. Next vital element is envisioning. Like it inject a direction into leadership, like you are putting a north star and you know that you are made for that, and that's what you are driven, that's what you are driving individuals to follow through it. And that's why it's very essential that you need to constantly check your envision, and it will drive you. The visionary approach encourages leaders to think critically and anticipate future challenge, and hence their mental agility. So if you are taking care about all those pillars, obviously you will become unstoppable. Endurance, because I have observed that like this is one of the strong traits every individual need to constantly polish. That there will be failure, there will be setbacks, there will be things, but we need to be resilient to really stand firm that like whatever purpose I have set for, whatever the vision I have set for, I'll be learning and then ensuring this is happen. So that's what very important, that setback mentally agile leaders leverage their endurance to pivot strategies, stay focused on long-term objectives. So endurance is one of the essential element we need to really cultivate. Like it's in this world which is changes constant, like you need to maintain this endurance ability. Excellence, one of the greatest foundation. Like without excellence you will not able to really go forward further, because you need to constantly see that like what best you can do. A mentally agile leaders balance daily tasks with overarching goals, consistently seek improvement and innovation, because excellence cannot come if you are not continuously improving. Identify this, what different you can make it, what different way you can build the system. Encouragement, you need to create a system like which is helping others and which you are also getting help. So collaboration and open communication is important. That's why this as a part of encouragement, you need to see through that like how can you encourage other, how can you take the help from other, help others. So that's why it is essential that you create a common pool of people who can help you, and when you have surrounded by this system, you will be really able to overcome all the challenges, because that's one of the vital part, that you are encouraging people to come with you, to understand you, and you are sharing stories. So and enablement, you need to help others so that you can learn from them, they can also learn from you, and then it will actually help you to become better leader, because in this way you will become mentally strong, because you are surrounded by the like-minded people getting their help and helping them. And it is actually a win-win situation. And the final one is effectiveness, where you are constantly measuring that, like, okay, am I really doing the great thing? Am I really improving? Am I really doing something which is actually helping the mankind? So when you are actually taking care about this 7E, it is a byproduct of the byproduct of nature is that you will become mentally agile, because these systems will automatically push you, thrust you towards this forward direction. Now, every day you can ask some question. Ethics, there are 10 questions I have listed down about the ethics. How do you encourage ethical behavior among your team members? Are you seeing that? How do you respond when team members actions are inconsistent with the organization ethical standard? What are you doing about this particular thing? So what roles does integrity play in your leadership style? This is something which you can retrospect and see that, like, you are taking action around that. Envisioning, what challenge do you foresee in achieving your long-term vision? How do you plan to address them? What tools and processes do you use anticipate future trend and challenge in your industry? How do you integrate short-term wins into bigger picture, your long-term vision? These are some of the questions which is trigger you to really understand, like, are you really taking the right step, or some alteration is required? Endurance part, how do you foster resilience and perseverance with your team? Can you share example of a major setbacks you have faced, how you bounce back? Because this is how you will learn, this is how you have to reinforce some of this message, which is ensure that you are learning. How do you maintain team morale and motivation during prolonged period of uncertainty? Because this is a part of the resiliency. Whatever you have done, if it has worked, you need to really take it forward. So this is important questions which you need to ask, so that we can check that, like, whatever these 7E are there, we are constantly working upon this to improve that. Excellence, discipline, and focus. What process do you put in place to ensure that your team strive continuous improvement? What strategies do you use measure progress towards achieving excellence work? What habit have you developed to maintain your focus on both immediate task and broader objective? These are some of the questions around excellence. Encouragement, how do you recognize and celebrate the strength and achievement of individual team member? Are you doing it? How do you manage conflicts in a way that encourage learning and strengthening the relationship? This is something about encouragement, because if you have a better relationship, obviously people will come to you, people will work with you, people will love to be part of with you. So it's a part of the encouragement. Am I doing encouragement maturity properly? Is there a room for improvement? Enablement, are you doing enablement? How do you create an environment where team members feel comfortable taking ownership of their work? How do you enable your team member to proactively identifying and solving the problem? Out of 10 questions, I have read out 2 questions. So this is just to tell that, like, you can systematically track, systematically retrospect, systematically take actions to see that, like, these 7 pillars are strengthen your mental agility. Effectiveness, how do you prioritize action that leads sustainable success rather than short-term goal? How do you evaluate the effectiveness of your leadership style and adjust it when necessary? This is something on measurement. This is something on quantifiably check that, like, am I really improving? Am I really going in the right direction? So like this way, in this book, there are many questions, many tools, many examples, many stories has been highlighted to strengthen the 7E of individuals. And obviously, byproduct of 7E is actually you will become a mentally strong leaders, and everyone would love to be like you leaders. So please read this book, see that what has been guided, and it is available in a Kindle version. It is available in a physical version also, and see that, like, is this really what I am claiming? Is it true? Is this really? You also can check that, like, there are a lot of blogs I have written around this, because I have seen that for a long time, like, a lot of great leaders historically has been already established this kind of 7E footprints, and as a result of that, they have become unstoppable. I would request you to just glance through this book, buy the Kindle version or the physical copy, see that, like, how can you personally apply these things to enhance your mental stability, help others to enhance their mental stamina, because in this today's world where everywhere the crises are high, it is essential that we stay strong and we develop those kind of capability skills which can help us to stay relevant in the long run. Thank you so much for listening to me.